Believe it or not, Colin, lots of questions were sent in to us about this. I figured we'd address most of them. Jason from Colorado starts and says, "Hey, Greg, Colin, and ever-rotating third chair.
Greetings.
Naughty Dog. This week 2 more people of the staff have left. How many more people have to leave before Sony decides to address it publicly? Especially a villain character that has been recast. Does this mean that the next Uncharted is a definite 2016 or even 2017 game by now? Thanks and beyond."
I don't know. I don't think this game's in good shape. If I were a betting man, I would say that the game is being redone in some way.
Yeah.
Todd Stashwick, like, we have to understand that mocap is half of what he does, not only voice acting. So, and he would tweet plenty of pictures of them in the studio doing all the mocap. So, if he's being recast, then they have to do all of that again.
It seems like, yeah. I mean, an outsider's perspective, right? You get rid of Amy, creative director, and Justin leaves on his own. Justin leaves; he's director. So now you have this gap to fill in. Whoever, and there's rumors. They've still never really been clear if Neil and Bruce have stepped up to do it or how this is happening. But it seems like a new team come in and is basically saying, yeah, like, let's make our own story. That's what it really reads and looks like, right? Like, let's make our own story and do our own tale, and that means, Todd, you're not part of it.
And I know people want this to be okay, but think about it in these terms. If you heard somebody was making a movie and 2/3 of the way through, the director, the executive producer, and a couple of other key people just walk off and are replaced in the middle of it, you would be worried. I don't want to be alarmist, but something is rotten in the state of Denmark here. And how that'll affect the product, they'll release a good product, I think, but it'll take the time to do it.
I mean, that's the thing. It's still Naughty Dog. It's still these guys who make amazing video games. It really looks like they went back to ground zero right from the thing and let's start again, which does mean that however far along they would have been in this project, right, that now they are back to square one. Yeah. Because we were never thinking it was this year. We always talked about 2015.
Like, I guess it's not coming out this year. I'm like, you're crazy if you ever thought that. If you ever thought that game would come out this year. First of all, they would never have a AAA, their biggest AAA exclusive with 6 months lead time. They would preview the shit out of that game. They would tease it and tease it and tease it and tease it. I think the only reason they even revealed it in December was because it seems like there are no games. Yeah. I'm sure they regret that in a major way now. But they couldn't see. That also tells you that the trouble started this year, which is interesting. There's a lot to be told there. I'd like to tell that story one day, but I don't know the details of it. I agree with you, Jared. I think that there's plenty of reason to be concerned about Uncharted 4. I think that before Amy Hennig left, my personal take was that it would be the fall 2015 game on PS4. I don't think that that's going to happen. But there are rumors that it's going to be at E3. So.
I say no way.
I don't know how that's possible. The only thing that could possibly be is that the mocap is done with Stashwick. He obviously has been paid for his services, and they gave him his kill fee or whatever, and he's gone. And they're just using a new voice. I mean, it could easily be as easy as that, but I don't think so because the performance capture that Naughty Dog is so into is a combination of mocap and vocal performance. Yeah. That is the idea. Yeah. So they don't have with Uncharted 1 when they were, when Nolan North was in the studio just doing the movements or whatever, then he had to go into a booth and record the voices again and stuff like that's not the idea anymore. That's not the way it goes. That's the same way with Infamous Second Son was recorded in the same way. So there's plenty of reason to be concerned. I would kill to be a fly on the wall in that studio.
Can you imagine? Yeah, I'd love to know this whole story. Like, I mean, at best at E3 you get a new Uncharted teaser trailer with Nathan Drake's voice, and there's no gameplay, nothing like that. It's similar to what we saw at the reveal, right? And it's that, and then it's a date to shut everybody up and be like, this is what's happening. This is our official statement without saying our official statement, right?
They always do announce the date early. Yeah, very early.
But I mean, this date's going to be out there. I mean,
2016.
Yeah, at best right now. I think
if anybody in this industry can afford to wait, they can.
Sure,
so, they're going to be fine.
But this just all goes back to what Colin was saying. I'm sure they're like, why the fuck did we have to say anything? If we had said nothing, nobody would know. It wouldn't be, Amy left and Justin left. I wonder if they were working on the next Uncharted. No big deal. Right now, the only 3 names ever connected with Uncharted PS4 are gone. Yeah. Gone. That's insane. Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Yeah. And it tells you a lot of things. It tells me, like I've said before, obviously Amy was removed, right? We know we don't know how that happened or why that happened or who did it or whatever. Right. But she was removed from the project. Mm-hmm. That's her game. That's her franchise. She made the game. She wrote the game. She made these characters. She's responsible for all of it. And then Justin Richmond leaves. We know Justin Richmond, and he left on his own. But I'm sure he left when every shit was going down with Uncharted. Mm-hmm. Nate Wells leaving is consequential too. I mean, he is the art director of the studio. Yeah. And I'm sure he has his hands on a lot of different, all their different games. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, and now, Stashwick leaving is just like, okay.
And I hope people don't think we're sitting here boiling the pot. This stuff does mean something.
Oh, no, people think we are for sure. They definitely think we're stirring up trouble for no reason.
This is not trouble for no reason, and
it's just
not,
a fascinating
nor is it
story.
idle speculation. I agree, but I've heard a lot of people throw accusations around the site that Colin's somehow in this to stir up trouble and generate more clicks about it. No, from the departure of Hennig and the way it happened on, it's been obvious something's wrong. It's not idle speculation. There is a easy deductive process. You've expressed it many times. Guys, we love this stuff. We want Uncharted to be so good, but we're not going to pretend when something is obviously
I mean, it's one of those,
wrong.
it's, the vocal minority that sounds off in the comments of like, stop talking about this IGN. But again, the Beyond mailbag was overflowing with questions about this.
Yeah, because it's reasonable. And of course, like, we don't have that kind of agenda. People think, like, there's like, all this conjecture out there. Naughty Dog invited me into their studio for 4 days last year and let me talk to everyone. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like we have, and we have the history of Naughty Dog Part 5 will be up soon. And, so we have a good relationship with them. Like, it's like kind of silly to assume that we have like an axe to grind. Obviously,
this always goes back to the, the thing we always talk about, right? When like, oh, you guys are so biased towards Sony and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, sure, we know all these people and we work with all these people and we worked with them for years, and for years everything's been great. So it's just been, hey, how is everything great? How is it everything? Now it's like everything's shit.
Yeah, you got to call
and we still have to keep reporting on it. It's not like I can be like, well, I knew Guy X from Naughty Dog, so I can't talk about this.
You call it like you see it, right?
Yeah.
And the fascinating thing, if you know Naughty Dog's history, is they've only had turnover like this once before, and it was in between consoles. Mm-hmm. It was in between PS2 and PS3 when like they hemorrhaged people, and they were in like a bad state. And I think they're kind of seeing it again. PS4 has not been easy to develop for. Probably the Uncharted 4 probably wasn't shaping up the way they wanted it to, and all these kinds of things. We have to tell the story. The story, like Greg said, the story's always been how fucking awesome Naughty Dog is, and how amazing, how stable, and like they are, and how they just output these awesome games, and how do they do it? And now the story is, are you still going to do it? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a reasonable story to have.
And it's think about this. We talked about this a year ago. How preposterous this would be. That they'll announce Uncharted 4, and then everything will go south. Everything will go to hell.
Now, Colin, I got one to call you on here, though. Okay, you mentioned the history of Naughty Dog.
He's about
5.
to nail you.
Okay,
Vampire strike.
I'm pointing my very hungry caterpillar pencil right at you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to know. History of Naughty Dog Part 5 at this point has become almost winter is coming.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right,
all
right. No, you are George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, no, for sure.
George Railroad Martin.
I want to hear it now. When are we going to see this?
May. Probably.
Okay, May.
Cool. I mean, so a lot of people have been saying that, and that's true, because I wrote the first one in September, October.
Yeah.
These stories obviously don't go away and become less timely, of course, because it's history. It's
exactly.
Not current.
Oh, yeah. I'm just picking on you because it's fun.
It's just they're extraordinarily hard to write, and like I need to have a week to do each piece,
so
like literally
a
week.
Jared.
And since I'm kind of drowning at every second of my life with work, that it's hard for me to carve everything. My intentions are always pure. History of Sucker Punch will definitely be after E3, though.
Yeah, that'll be after E3.
I have all the data for it. I just need to write it.
But you think we'll see it in May?
If I don't have it out in May, it's never going to happen.
June 1st, I'm going to tackle you. Tackle.
Okay. It'll be fine. It'll be happening.